I had a coworker who admitted to feeling afraid and unprivileged as a nerd. Nerds, unlike whales and feminists, did not have fat empowerment at the time. Feminists labeled him privileged because geeks are the first to adopt and devise advanced technology and participate in the microcomputer revolution. It could be correct today. Geeks have an advantage because of the internet, mobile devices, computer science, and programming. But it wasn't like that when I was a kid. In the early 1990s, nerds were considered outcasts and lepers. Nerds and geeks used technology to communicate because they were ashamed. Nerds were the first to feminize themselves because they assumed that was what ladies desired. Because they couldn't afford to be impulsive, nerds were more reasonable and rational. Between the ages of 12 and 14, my friend David, a Star Wars fan, was terrified that one of his female classmates would discover how he felt about her. He'd be labeled, isolated, and possibly even expelled. Although the expulsion from school was exaggerated, you get the idea. These guys grew up tiptoeing around other boys and girls, so it's natural for them to maintain this behavior as adults. Women who are unconcerned understand that if a man can act like a prick, he will, because that's how women are, and they expect men to act in the same way. In their eyes, a lovely, intelligent, hardworking, and wealthy man is fortunate. He has the means to treat women like garbage, but he does not. Women evaluate privilege based on what they could do rather than what they do. Women's power is not openly expressed. It results from having the most moves on the chessboard of life. Men, on the other hand, don't understand whether you make them or not. We concentrate on actual decisions and moves rather than possibilities. Men who act well are typically sincere. Women, on the other hand, regard them as frail and deceptive. They observe a good person bartering favors for her undergarments. Because they don't hide their true nature, bad boys are more honest. Most pleasant men are pleasant because they have been socialized to be so. Specifically, geeks from the 1980s and the 1990s. You should have talked to girls and would have been rejected when you were 13 or 14. I tried it and had epic failures. I was afraid and needed to be bold, but I couldn't. I didn't notice anxiety until I was about 17 years old. Men over the age of 25 are more likely to suffer from depression, and when talking to women, they get nervous. My advice is to ignore feminist brainwashing and only talk to women on trips, holidays, or other occasions where they will not have an impact on your daily life. Cougar bars are my recommendation. If you stutter, the women there will tolerate you, but they're more interested in tripping into your lap. Humans believe that the elderly are ideal for practice because their bodies are like expired lottery tickets. Some may even criticize your bad habits. Men are afraid of looking foolish, but if you do it enough times, you won't notice. Women prefer men to be experienced because they are self-assured. In their 30s, most decent guys and geeks have their first relevant adult relationships. They frequently marry the first used partner that they come across, have children, and then they divorce 5 to 10 years later. This person will also consume their most profitable year's earnings. Avoid doing this. If you missed their best years, don't be there when they're at their worst. You, the wealthy, socially inept nerd, will be their golden parachute. Don't do it. Beware. It's all about the numbers. If you approach 10 women, only 1 or 2 will respond. Assume that you're a salesman trying to give them what they want. Late teens and early 20s will be more reserved. They are not looking for a man to lock down and have no babies, so you can have some fun. That is my best advice. I can't imagine growing up in a generation where polite men are afraid of women. Work hard by avoiding becoming like David by overcoming the brainwashing.